Make sure we set up. Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? What's happening? Let me get my chat set up and everything. You did what I'm saying, man. Great night of boxing. Great night of boxing. Great weekend of boxing, man. This is how you jump that shit off. This is how you start out the month of April. You know what I'm saying? This is how you start out the month of April, man. This how you start that shit out, man. Beautiful. Beautiful. Shout out to my brother Skinny Too Litty in the building. Hey, happy Sunday to you, man. This is how you start that shit off, bro. This is how you start out the month of April. For the fights that we got lined up, this how you do it, man. This how you do it, man. We gonna chop it up. You know what I'm saying? I had to hop on here, man, and see what y'all boys had going on, man. Talk about saying fuck Fury and White though. Hey, big facts. You know what I'm saying? That ain't really like a fight that I'm extremely excited about myself. Shout out to the brother Tez Frank in the building. My brother Rivera Frazier in the building. Shout out to my brother Mike Biggs Boxing in the building. Montavia Berry. What's good? What's good, man? Appreciate y'all for pulling up. Yeah, man. I'm just taken aback, bro. Like, the performance from both guys last night. Now, of course, we had Ryan Garcia and Tagoe. That fight was a little lackluster in my opinion. I was flipping back and forth. I really thought Ryan Garcia was going to come out and try to make a statement, but, you know, he couldn't get the guy out. He was in there just to survive. So, you know, fight went 12 rounds, but Ryan didn't look horrible. But I expected him to get to go up out of there. You know, Murata, Triple G, that was a pretty good fight. Triple G looked old as hell, you know what I'm saying? But he was able to get the stoppage. Tony Harrison looked good. Tony Harrison really, you know, he really impressed me with after, you know, his father passed. He came back, didn't look so well in his return fight, got a draw. But he really impressed me in this fight versus Sergio Garcia. He really impressed me. I was impressed with his mentality. You know what I'm saying? I was impressed with his mentality, being able to stick to the game plan, box, move. The sweet science was on full display. Tony Harrison looked really good out there, really sharp. And I'm ready to see him get back in there with a top guy, 154. Shout out to my brother Steven in the building. What's good? Shout out to the brother Jay in the building. Said Garcia out here fighting cashiers. Hey, man, look. That fight was, you know, I expected Ryan Garcia to do better than that. I expected him to do better. But he's still struggling with some of the fundamental issues that he's always had. Some of those flaws, like keeping his chin in the air, being extremely flat-footed. But I will say this about Ryan Garcia. You know, you can see all of the raw ability is there. All the hand speed, the punching power. I did like his aggressiveness, but he don't cut the ring off very good. All he really do is just follow you around the ring. Very flat-footed. He hasn't developed that ability to cut the ring off. That's something he gonna have to work on. If you're not gonna develop great footwork, boxing off the back foot, or a great pivot game, you have to be able to cut the ring off. And to be honest with you, in order to cut the ring off at an elite level, you gotta have a nice pivot game. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just about defense. You gotta have a nice pivot game and to be able to use your athleticism effective to cut that ring off. Said Tony Harrison put on the clinic. He sure did, bro. He was peppering dude. He sure did, man. I was really impressed with Tony Harrison. It wasn't like, because, I mean, we all know Tony Harrison can box. We know Tony Harrison got skills. Great jab. A very cerebral fighter. Very smart fighter. We know he can box, but it was just the mentality, everything that he had been through, and then he didn't look that sharp in his last fight. And I feel like Sergio Garcia was a better opponent, in my opinion, than his last fight. And he came out and he looked real good, man. He was sharp. He stuck to the game plan. Sergio Garcia tried to put pressure on him and throw those looping shots that he was throwing on Fondura that was actually landing on Fondura. But he really couldn't hit Tony Harrison with too much of shit. I mean, he had Harrison on the ropes, and Harrison's defense off the ropes was incredible. I mean, like, he was bobbing and weaving and getting in and out, man, and then still being able to counter and get his shit off. I was really impressed with Tony Harrison. Shout out to the brother Eric Brooks in the building. What's good? Fundora had good height and did well using his height and jabs. Andre Williams, shout out to the brother Andre Williams in the building. What's good? Seems like Ryan sacrificed his speed for bulk and muscles. He was fast, but not as fast, and he don't have a plan B. Yeah, Ryan Garcia definitely, in my opinion, he's still a project. You know, and that's crazy to say that he's already 22 fights in, but he's still a project, man. Like, he got a lot of things to work on. He got a lot of things to continue to develop. I look at Ryan Garcia sort of like how I looked at Teofimo Lopez. All the athleticism and the explosiveness is there. All of the physical gifts that you're born with are there. But as a fighter, skill-wise, he's very limited. I can't really say that Ryan Garcia has peaked already. I think he can actually still develop, whereas Teofimo Lopez, I feel like he already peaked. I mean, that's just me, honestly. I really don't see him getting much better than he already is. Plus, you got to have the mentality to want to get better, too. You can't think that you just the shit already just because you won a couple of fights. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, Fundora, man, Fundora was phenomenal. I'm going to say this. Sebastian Fundora is going to be very hard to beat, bro. He gonna be very hard to beat, and it's because of the intense pressure and volume punching on top of the fact that he has a really good chin. Erickson Lubin, as you see, Erickson Lubin, the first one to put him down. You know, Erickson Lubin is a very powerful puncher. And I mean, even in a loss, I think Erickson Lubin is incredibly skilled. I'm just a fan of Erickson Lubin's game. He didn't pull out the win last night, and I felt like he kind of got away from his game plan after the first round. He came out in the first round. He was trying to box. And it's hard to box a guy like that with so much reach over you, even if he's not necessarily using it as a outboxer. Fundora wasn't using his reach. Like he said before the fight, he said, I'm going to use my reach how I want to use it. I got a size advantage. I'm going to use it how I want to. I might box from the outside. I might fight on the inside. But he didn't necessarily use it from a boxer standpoint to keep the shorter fighter at bay and to control him from the outside. But it's still a daunting task to be able to keep up that pace and box. And, you know, when this guy has so much significant reach over you, and even if he's not throwing a jab like that, he's still throwing uppercuts, and them bitches coming from long range, and they landing. You know what I'm saying? And I said in my breakdown that, you know, the uppercut for Fundora, that's his best punch. I mean, his uppercuts are very damaging, and he land those easier than his opponent would think they would land, because his arms are so long, so you thinking like, damn, how he landing those uppercuts? But what it is, guys are trying to gauge their distance and try to find a way on the inside, and he throwing them bitches. He can land them in close, and he can land them as you're coming in, because they coming from long range, and it may take a little moment to get, and he fast too. Fundora got speed too. That's another thing that I feel like surprise fighters, is that for him to be so long and shit, he got very fast hands. And his punches get to the point of impact quick. His punches get there quick. Said I could see Jermell Charlo giving Fundora that Jason Rosario treatment. I can definitely see that. I'm gonna be honest, man. I think Jermell Charlo is probably the only guy at 154 right now. He probably the only guy that I would favor over Sebastian Fundora right now at 154. I think Brian Castano could possibly make it a scrappy dog fight. You know, make Fundora kind of have to get down extremely low. Plus, Castano has a very high work rate. But I think Fundora end up catching Castano with an uppercut. You know what I'm saying? I think he'll end up catching Castano with an uppercut. I think Jermell Charlo is probably the only guy that I would favor over Sebastian Fundora at 154. I mean, the dude is just tough, man. The dude is just tough. You know what I'm saying? Dude is just tough. You know what I'm saying? Let's get bruh up out of here. You feel me? Let's get him up out of here. You don't deserve to be here, sir. Shout out to the brother Maurice Bridges in the building. What's good? You know what I'm saying? What's good? Said Charlo can move and give angles. Lubin was backing straight up against the ropes and getting punted. Facts. Fact. That's another thing. Lubin just seemed determined to have that fight in close quarters, which I think I said in my breakdown. I said he's safest, not safe, but he's safest on the inside and in Fundura's chest. I felt like he would have the most success being as close as possible to Fundura and getting his combinations off. The thing is, though, you can't just do it in a straight line like that. You got to use pivots. You got to use angles. And he did that in the first round. But it seemed like after having success, he was a quicker fighter. He was an overall, in my opinion, I just felt like he was an overall more skilled guy. But he didn't necessarily put it together as Fundura did. Fundura put it together. He put his game plan, he stuck to it, and he kept pressuring, and Lubin kind of got away from the game plan. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't using, after the first round, he wasn't using those angles and pivots like he was in the first round. He started to just sit there right in front of him and just bang. And I'm going to be honest with you, man, with Fundura, even though he's 6'5", 6'6", that's his wheelhouse. Fighting on the inside, bruh. Dude is an incredible inside fighter. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he get the uppercuts to land like them bitches. Even when a fighter is right in his chest, he still can dig and get those uppercuts to land flush. And then I love how he curls those left hook. Well, he's southpaw. I love how he, curl those right hooks. For him to have such long range, he's still able to get to curl those motherfucking hooks like that. You know what I'm saying? Fundora tough, man. Fundora tough. Shout out to North Street Jizzle say Fundora out here looking like Dial Sam how Street Fighter. Facts. Said them uppercuts got his ass lifted Lubin up off his feet. He did. He really did, bro. Said you can't run from Fundura. He's relentless. Yeah, you can't. You gonna have to fight Fundura, but it's gonna have to be a method to it though, and that's why I say Jermell Charlo is probably the only guy that I would favor to beat Fundura at 154 right now, because he's able to fight on the inside or even that mid range and use angles, use his feet, use a great stiff jab to the body. That's another thing that you gotta have with Fundura, even though he showed that he can absorb head and body shots. I think Jermell Charlo would be more consistent with the jab to the body and be able to, use angles and shit, man, and really get in there and go crazy. You dig what I'm saying? Said, punch, smell it. What's good? Shout out to the brother Lord Sweat Real in the building. Shout out to B-More, man. What's happening? Said, cause his arm so long, he barely got to throw uppercuts. It's a quick motion for him. Yeah, that shit it's impressive though, bro. Like, for him to have so much reach and height and still be able to be on the inside in the phone booth and curl those shots like he do, and then land those uppercuts so crisp and flush, he gonna be hard to beat. And like the brother said, I really don't see nobody outboxing him just from a distance, because even if he chooses to just press you, with him throwing such a high volume of punches and applying intelligent and relentless pressure, you gotta have a gas tank out this world in order to keep up an outboxing game plan and try to go 12 and win a decision. You gotta have a hell of a gas tank, because he's gonna stay in your chest. And even if there is some sort of distance between you guys where your typical fighter, your typical opponent, you might feel like you at mid-range. You might even feel like you at long range. But with Fundura, long range and mid-range for him, that's still inside because his arm's so long. He's still in close quarters with you from his vantage point. It's still close quarters. So for you to be able to get something off, you really gonna have to stand in the fire, and you gotta hurt him. Now, Lubin did show that you can hurt him. Lubin did show that you can hurt him. You have to hurt him. But that goes back to, one of the reasons why I say with Earl Spence, you gotta hurt Earl Spence. You know what I'm saying? It's certain guys that I feel like you have to hurt them in order to win, because the volume is just too much. It's too much pressure. It's like, bruh, if you can't hurt this man, you not gonna win a decision, and you just might get knocked out. Shout out to the brother Maurice Bridges in the super chat, coming through and showing love. He said, did you think Lubin was up 2 rounds? When they stopped it, the judges had Lubin up 2 rounds on all the cards. I don't know how. What the fight was stopped in the 9th? I had the fight very close. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't say that I had Lubin up 2 rounds, but I had the fight very, very close. I liked Lubin in the first round. Of course, 10-8 round for Fundora in the second. Then I felt like they kind of went back and forth. It was a close fight. I think that knockdown by Lubin in the 7th round, that kind of closed the distance. I know some of them had it as a 10-9 round because Fundora was really putting on a clinic up until the knockdown. But, I think it was a close fight. I think Fundora would have continued to separate himself had it not been stopped. I think rounds 9, 10, 11, 12, Fundora would have dominated, because Lubin was just taking too much punishment, man. Just too much punishment. I've never seen his face like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? He was just taking too much punishment. Said, will Spence beat Fundora once he moves up? That's a tough task. I don't know. That's a tough task for Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? That's a very, very tough task. And that's going to be a fight. That's going to be a fight. That is going to be a fight. When Errol Spence get up to 154, Fundora going to be a big deal up there. That's going to be a fight. And I can't say that, I don't know. I don't know. I can't say. That's a pick'em fight, in my opinion, just because of the physical dimensions of Fundora. Shout out to the brother Black Boxing Kings in the building. What's good? Them shots from Jamel Charlo will break his ribs and jaw. Yeah, I really like Jamel in that fight. I think it's a tough fight for anybody. I think Fundora tough for anybody at 154, because you have to hurt him. It's a prerequisite to hurt Fundora in order to win. You have to hurt him. You have to. You're not just going to outbox him. You gotta hurt him. You gotta hurt him. You know what I'm saying? You gotta hurt him, man. You gotta hurt him. But I definitely think, when Earl does get up there, I think it's a 50-50 fight. I'm going to be honest with you. Until somebody showed me different. You know what I'm saying? I like Earl going to the body on Fundora, but at the same time, man, he throws a lot of uppercuts that a fighter that's a normal 154-pound size, like between 5'8" and maybe 6 feet, they probably wouldn't land those same uppercuts, because he's throwing them from a weird-ass range. It's tough. It's tough. Crawford versus Fundora? Man, I don't know, dog. I think Fundora, I think he'll catch Crawford with something, man. That's a 50-50 fight, too. I give Crawford, every chance to win that fight, but I don't know. That's a tough fight, bro. The only person I really see beating Fundora is Jamel Charlo. I'm going to be honest with you. Shout out to the brother Vigilante Cato in the building. What's good? Said Earl will have to use his defense and kill his body. What's up, though, my peeps? Facts. Said Fundora can hit a motherfucker from the locker room. Hey, for real. For real, bro. Like, that is a daunting task for anybody in that division. Now, we say, he move up to 160, 168. Now, it's a little different. He going to be taller than and rangier than those guys, too. But it's going to be a little different. Punch resistance for the other guys going to be a little different. The power going to be a little different. You know what I'm saying? The reach advantage shrink a little bit. But it's, at 154 though, tough. That's tough. That's tough. Said Crawford might get KO'd. Yeah, man. See, this the thing with Crawford. If he would try to like counterpunch and outbox Fundora and allow Fundora to like run into something, I don't really see that working. If he can't hurt him, he gotta hurt. If he can't hurt Fundora, he can't beat him. He'll end up getting stopped. Because he's not gonna be able to just box from the outside. He'll end up getting stopped. You gotta hurt him. Said, did y'all know that Fundora walks around at 154? Dude could go down to 147 if he wants. I believe it. I believe it. He's one of those guys, like just one of those naturally like wiry, skinny ass motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I've seen guys like that before. Not necessarily 6'6", but I've seen guys like that before. That's because didn't he weigh like 152 at the weigh-in? Wasn't Fundora like 152? Now Boots get up to 154. That's another story. I like Boots in that fight. I think Boots gonna be strong at 154. I really like Boots. I think that's gonna be a hell of a fight. Once he do get up to that division, if Fundora stay at 154, I like Boots in that fight right there. That's a good one. He said Fundora built like one of them switches you had to get from the yard when you getting a whooping. Oh shit. Boy, y'all crazy, man. Said shout out to the brother Jaheim Jones. Said ESJ inside game is impeccable and those body shots will break him down. On top of that, ESJ built for tough. Facts. I think Earl can win that fight, man. It's gonna be tough though. It's gonna be tough. I think if anybody gonna push Fundora to a decision and win, because I think Fundora's chin is solid, Earl Spence's chin is solid. Both of them are high volume punches. Both of them throw punches in bunches. That'll be a good ass fight, man. That'll be a good ass fight. I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't bet on that fight. I would probably have to lean towards Earl Spence just off of the pedigree and the things that I've seen Earl Spence do in the ring. The versatility of Earl Spence, but I wouldn't bet no money on that fight. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's a tough ass fight, man. Tough fight. That's a tough fight. But what I wanted to say though is that let's say this though. A hell of a fight. I think this fight actually set the stage for what's to come this month. I love when we have fights like this, when you already got shit scheduled and lined up. I love when you have a fight like this to pop it off. Because now I know Earl Spence was watching. I know Yordenis Ugas was watching. I know Shakur Stevenson was there in the building, I believe. I know he was watching. You know what I'm saying? I know Oscar Valdez was watching. You feel me? Everybody was watching this shit. Everybody seen the heart that was on display by both Fundora and Erickson Lubin. You dig what I'm saying? Motherfuckers can say what they want about Erickson Lubin, but that knockdown in the 7th round, that shit was some of the most beautiful shit I seen. The heart that he had to come back. You seen his face was like disfigured. You damn near couldn't even recognize Erickson Lubin. He looked like a totally different person. Somebody said he looked like Martin when Tommy Hearns got a hold of him. You know what I'm saying? Totally different person. But even with all that going on, that man bit down and just got the throwing left hook, left hook, right. He hurt him and just went crazy. He went for the gusto. You see a lot of guys, they fold under those situations. You see a lot of guys, they give up, they tuck their tail in, and they pack it in. They take it back to the locker room and they say, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Erickson Lubin, he put it all on the line. You could tell he wanted to be great. You dig what I'm saying? So that knockdown in the 7th round, that shit got me hyped. I had to jump up out my seat. You feel me? I had to jump up out my seat. I'm like, nah, this shit going crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit really had me hyped, bro. And Fundora, after getting knocked down, coming back in the next round, putting pressure on, he didn't stop. He kept going, putting pressure, punches, taking some to give some. Yeah, I didn't see that knockdown in the 7th round coming. That's what made that shit so amazing. It was like triumphant. You feel me? It was like the crowd started going crazy. I'm like, oh my God, is Erickson Lubin finna make a comeback and stop this man? I really thought, and then if it was a little bit more time in that round, it was like 10 seconds left. Erickson Lubin jumped up. Well, they sent him to the corner. They gave Sebastian like a 9 count. You know what I'm saying? Let him put his mouthpiece back in. He got quite a considerable amount of time. But that's neither here nor there. Once the ref say, okay, fight back on, Erickson Lubin jumped back out that hole with a lead right hook. You feel me? Trying to get at him. And he was still getting to him, but saved by the bell. I'm like, bruh, is Erickson Lubin finna come back and stop this man? Bruh, that shit had me hyped. That shit had me hyped. So I know everybody else see this shit. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, for Sebastian Fundora, man, to come back in that next round like nothing happened and just keep applying that pressure. Sticking with the game plan, steadfast. Come on now. That's boxing right there. Last night is what boxing is all about, bro. That fight right there is what boxing is all about. And I think that shit set the stage for what's to come this month. I think we're going to get an incredible performance out of Earl Spence and Yordenis Ugas Saturday. Incredible. We got Imantas Stanionis versus Butayev. Hell of a matchup. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you got Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdez. Still got Fury and White. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor is going down. Let me ask y'all this. Who y'all think, and I'm going to do my prediction. I'm going to probably drop the Earl Spence and Yordenis Ugas prediction tomorrow. I'm going to do a breakdown, and I'm going to do the prediction. I'll probably drop that tomorrow morning, right? But then I still got to I'm going to do one on Imantas Stanionis and Butayev. Now, my prediction from last night was a little off. I got to do some more film study. I got to go deep on this Butayev and Stanionis film study. I want to ask y'all, who y'all think gonna win that out of that Stanionis and Butayev fight? Who y'all picking in that fight? Said, I keeps it 100, salute. Yeah, Lubin so mad. I had somebody telling me in the comments on the prediction video saying that Lubin ain't got no dog. Say Lubin ain't no dog. I'm like, bro, you tweaking, because I seen that shit. Lubin got that dog in him, bro. Dog, a lot of guys would have folded. They wouldn't have came back like that in the 7th round, bro. A lot of motherfuckers would have folded. Face all fucked up and shit. I'm pretty sure his jaw broke. You know what I'm saying? Lubin got that dog in him, bro. And I'm ready to see him back in. Take some time off, but I want to see the brother back in the ring. You know, see, you win some, you lose some. It's cool. Said 50-50. Shout out to the brother Educated Jab in the building. What's good? 50-50 fight. I'm leaning towards Stanionis. Stanionis slept on. I got Stanionis by stoppage. Okay. You know what? Shout out to the brother Jay Watts 4 in the building. What's good? Oh, yeah, it's fight week. Oh, it's up now. But look, I'm leaning towards Stanionis as well. But I'm gonna do some film study over the next 2 days and really just like see what the fuck going on. Because I'll be honest with you, outside of that Jamal James fight, I hadn't seen much of Butayev. I hadn't seen much of it. You know what I'm saying? Salute to the brother John Kramer in the building. What's good? Man, I'm doing good, man. I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? I'm here talking this boxing with y'all, man. Beautiful Sunday out here in Dallas, Texas. You feel me? Beautiful Sunday in the city, man. But I hadn't seen too much on Butayev outside of the Jamal James fight. So I really got to go back and watch some more of him. You feel me? He actually surprised me in that fight. Stanionis, I've been keeping my eye on him. I've been watching him and seeing, I liked how he performed in the Collazo fight, even though it was stopped short. I thought he was finna kill Collazo, but they ended up stopping that fight short. No contest, I believe. And I saw him versus Delorme. He didn't look very impressive versus Delorme. He didn't look that good versus Delorme, but I see the talent. I see the ability. He's a very strong fighter. He remind me of a couple of guys with that type of style. Virgil Ortiz, Earl Spence. He remind me of those guys. You know what I'm saying? I like Stanionis. He tough. I like Stanionis. Said Stanionis seemed like a machine, bro. Yeah, like they got a computer chip in him. You know what I'm saying? They got a computer chip in that dude, man. And he just keep going and going and going and shit. Ricky Queen in the building. Salute, bro. What's good? Said, are you going to the Spence and Ugas fight? Nah, man. I'm gonna have a little fight party situation with the family, man. We gonna get together. Have a little vibe at my parents' crib, man, and watch the fight. Something cool. I always watch the fight with my pops and shit. You know what I'm saying? But after the fight, though, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely gonna touch the city. You feel me? I'm definitely gonna touch the city. Says Stanionis is very technical. Very technical, bro. Very technical. Like one of the brothers said, man, he like a machine, like a robot. It's like they got a computer chip in him. He just keep going and keep going. Stanionis another one of those guys that you gotta hurt too. You know what I'm saying? He another one of those guys that you gotta hurt. You gotta hurt him. Shout out to the brother Kurt Douglas, 15, in that super chat coming through and showing love. He said, EJ got to make a statement. Big facts. Gotta make a statement, bruh. Gotta make a statement. And I think he gonna do it. I think he gonna do it, man. Pick 6 in the building. What's good? Said Lubin Fundora really got power behind those punches while he's fighting on the inside. Hell yeah, he got power on them bitches. Hell yeah. I remember he was fighting, I think it was on the Earl Spence and Danny Garcia undercard. If anybody knows that guy's name that Fondura fought on the Spence and Danny Garcia undercard, put it in the chat. But I think it was like some African dude. Man, say, that motherfucker was throwing uppercuts from a weird ass range, bro. And them bitches, every one of them had an impact. Dude got power, man. He got power, dog, on the inside from range. But yeah, so said 10 or less. I really believe Earl Spence. I told y'all already how I see that fight going. With Earl Spence and Ugas. That I've been leaning more and more closer to a stoppage. I'm gonna do the official prediction tomorrow. I'm gonna upload that in the morning. You know what I'm saying? But I think Earl really gonna make a statement. I think he gonna make a statement, bro, because if you just look at everything leading up to this point, dog. Just look at everything leading up to this point. You look at the shape he in. You look at how sharp he is. You look at, all of the motivation. I call them gas, propane. You know what I'm saying? All of the motherfuckers throwing gas on an open flame. Just throwing gas. You know what I'm saying? Just throwing gas on an open flame. He went on the Porterway podcast. He told Sean Porter, he said, yeah, shit, I think you do be hating on me. You know what I'm saying? He be saying and being aware of everything that's going on. I really believe that he is going to make a statement. And then y'all seen on the Last Stand podcast interview where he said, at the end of this year, I will be considered one of the greatest welterweights of all time. So if you got a man thinking like that, you got Earl Spence, not just any man. You got Earl Spence thinking that I want to be considered one of the greatest welterweights that have ever lived by the end of this year. You know that man thinking about making a statement, bro. You know what type of time he on. Shout out to the brother Kirk Douglas 15 back in that super chat coming through and showing love. He said Dallas going down this weekend. I'm in the joint already, bro. Hey, the city gonna be lit, bro. The city gonna be lit for sure. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Everybody gotta pull up, man. You know, have a good time, enjoy yourselves, man. I think, you know, boys gonna be in for a great night of boxing. I think we gonna see one of Earl Spence's best performances. You know, Yordenis Ugas, though he's extremely skilled, very underrated in my opinion, highly skilled counterpuncher, a highly motivated fighter right now because, believe it or not, even though Ugas, you know, he beat Manny Pacquiao, got a lot of credit off that. A lot of people still slighted him. You know, he still feel like it's a lot to prove, man. And I think we gonna get a highly motivated Yordenis Ugas. But even with all those things considered, him being a big guy and a strong guy as well, Earl not fighting no small welterweight. Even with all those things considered, I do believe that his style is tailor-made for Earl Spence. I think his style, this version of Ugas, I think this is the best Ugas has ever been. I think Earl Spence is fighting Ugas while he at his peak right now. You know what I'm saying? I think Earl fighting Ugas at his peak right now. All those things considered, I still think he's tailor-made for Earl Spence to go out there and put on a hell of a performance. A hell of a performance. Shout out to the brother DSV company in the building. What's good? Shakur did an interview after the fight and he seemed shook a bit. You talking about the fight was crazy last night. Oh, you talking about the Lubin and Fundora fight? I gotta watch that interview. I think Champside uploaded a Shakur Stevenson interview, but I gotta watch that bit. Said Ugas remind me of Peterson a little bit. Yeah, I think that fight will look similar to the Peterson fight. However, I believe Yordenis Ugas is gonna take more chances than Peterson. Because I think that Ugas is he's more alive than Lamont Peterson was at that time. Believe it or not, because Earl fought Lamont Peterson at a good time. He was still strong. I think his record was like 33-2 or something like that. He was still strong, still confident, but he wasn't a champion. And he wasn't, you know, I don't think he had as much fire in him as Ugas has right now. So I think you're going to get a certain level of intensity from Yordenis Ugas, which will bring out a different level of intensity from Earl Spence. And I think that's what's going to make the fight a hell of a fight. Because though Ugas can box, he not afraid to sit in the pocket with you and mix it up. Like Earl said off of on the Portaway podcast, he said, if he chooses to stand toe-to-toe with me, God bless him. Say goodbye. You dig what I'm saying? That's basically what he said. He said, if that man chooses to stay toe-to-toe with me, say goodbye. That's basically what he said. You feel me? So I really believe that Ugas got that fire in him, and that's what's really going to help ignite Earl Spence. And it's just going to be, I think it's going to be a beautiful performance, dog. I think this fight is going to be what everybody been wanting to see out of Earl Spence over the last 2 years. That's just truly what I believe. If that's a stoppage to you, or if it's a brutal knockout, or just a one-sided beatdown, a boxing lesson, all of the above, I think you're gonna see that. I don't think Ugas should stay in from. I don't think Ugas should stay in from Spence, though he got hurt in his fight before Pacquiao. Oh, you said you don't think he should stay on the inside with Spence? I don't think it's a good idea neither. I think Yordenis Ugas' best chance is to try to bait Earl Spence into being overzealous and overly aggressive and just try to set traps and counter him. That's the best chance he got, but even that's going to be extremely difficult because Earl Spence applies intelligent pressure. He's not a guy that just, goes forward mindlessly, just throwing punches. Everything is done calculated. Everything is done. Yeah, like I'm gonna get to that too. Educated Jab just said Earl Spence is better inside and outside. So that's one thing that he was saying over the last couple of interviews that he did. He was saying, you know, whatever they was asking him, well, how you think Ugas gonna approach this fight, and how would you combat that or counter that? He was like, it really don't matter because I do everything better than Ugas. If he want to fight on the inside, we can do that. If you want to box, we can do that. Whatever he said, I'ma dictate the pace. He said, I'ma control the pace of the fight. I'ma control the character of the fight. The fight is gonna be made in my image, pretty much. However I want this fight to go, that's how it's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's gonna go. Earl said, I feel indestructible. I don't think no fighter can beat me. And something that also on the Portaway podcast interview that I found very interesting, they was asking him, I think it was something similar to like what you think the outcome is gonna be or how Ugas is gonna approach the fight or what have you. And Earl was like, you can't, he said, I got more dog than anybody I step in the ring with. I'm gonna have more dog than them. So you gonna have to really, basically he's saying you're gonna have to stop me. The same shit I've been saying this whole time. Because he can either beat you up and break you down and stop you, or just outdog you to a decision for 12 rounds and win on the cards. Earl Spence's style is very difficult to beat. When you got a guy that has a chin, who has a great jab, who applies intelligent pressure, who is capable of throwing 1,000 punches in a fight, who has a great motor and stamina, and then everything that he does is steady, steady, steady. No wasted punches, no wasted movement. Even if he's not throwing punches, the pressure that he's putting on you is mental. So when you're fighting a guy like that, you really have a very small window for mistakes. Your margin for error is extremely small. Shout out to the brother Corey McGee in the building. What's good? Your margin for error is extremely small. Because everything he's doing is constant, steady, steady, accurate, technical, steady, steady, strength, power, steady, steady. It's like your margin for error is very small. So either you gonna get beat up, broke down, and stopped, or you gonna lose a decision because he putting on too much pressure and landing punches. It's mentally and physically draining. It's hard to beat. The only way you beat that style is you have to hurt him. You have to either stop him with one shot, or you gotta hurt him so bad where I don't want to come forward no more. Ooh, I don't want no more of that. You gotta turn him into a shell of himself. And I haven't seen nobody do that yet. You know what I'm saying? Not saying it's not possible, it is. But you gotta hurt him. You gotta hurt Earl Spence. You're not finna just outbox him and just make it look pretty. You have to hurt Earl Spence, or else you're gonna either get stopped or you're gonna lose on the cards. Said Spence can win an entire fight just using a jab. Facts. That's another thing that's gonna be interesting for me is how does Yordenis Ugas choose to attack Earl Spence's jab? Because I know that he gonna be trying to counter over that bitch. Every time Earl throw a jab, you know, he gonna be waiting, trying to counter over that bitch with either his own jab or a left hook, you know, and then I know he gonna eventually bring that right hand into the picture as well. But Earl just so calculated with it, man, with the feints. He don't always reveal when he gonna throw the jab. You know it's coming, but you don't know the rate, you don't know the speed it's coming at, or you don't know the angle it's coming at, or you don't know if it's gonna be a double jab. You know what I'm saying? You don't know if it's gonna be a jab and then a straight left. You really don't know. You really don't know. And when you got that, you got a strong, stiff jab in your face all night long, and then you got other shit coming behind it, and this man is breathing down your neck, that's tough. It's tough. Shout out to the brother D Lucky in the super chat coming through and showing love, man. I appreciate you for pulling up. He said, salute to one of my favorite channels on YouTube. Crazy Night of Boxing. Fondura will give anyone problems. Big facts. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you for pulling up, dog. Always good to have you, man. Always good to have you. You know what I'm saying? Said I really think Ugas got the better jab than Spence. Ooh, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. Though I disagree, that's a very interesting take. And you know what? The great thing about this is that the fight is 6 days away, and we're going to find out. We're going to find out. But that's not a bad take, man, because Ugas does have a really good jab. Really good jab. Really good jab. I think that's one of his best weapons, his ability to counter with his own jab over your jab, especially when he's fighting a southpaw, because their jabs are pretty much mirroring each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy while you're throwing that jab to counter over a southpaw's jab. You know, when you're a skilled orthodox counterpuncher like Yordenis Ugas fighting a southpaw. But I think Errol Spence I think he's going to use a lot of feints, especially in the early rounds. I think he's going to use a lot of feints. You know, the same thing he did versus Kell Brook, because Kell Brook was very good at countering with his jab over Errol Spence's jab as a southpaw. But what Errol Spence started to do in the around like rounds 4 and 5, I really say 5. If you go back and watch that fight, what Earl started to do was feint. He started to feint before he threw his jab. So now he feigned, Kell Brook thinking the jab coming, so he revealing himself. Now Earl got him where he wanted him. Then Earl go ahead and pop his jab and then bring that left around that bitch. You know what I'm saying? So I think you're going to see a lot of feints from Errol Spence. Shout out to the brother Captain in the super chat coming through and showing love. He said, salute, fam. Hey, salute to you, bro. Salute. Shout out to my brother Big Tex 33 in the building. What's good? What's good? Shout out to my brother D Lucky back in that super chat coming through and showing love. He said Ugas seems to know how to set distance well. Facts. But Earl steps into his jab pretty well. Would be tough to stay out of the way of that jab for 12 rounds. I totally agree. I totally agree. And that's another thing. Ugas got good distance. See, when you talking about the level of quality of a fighter's jab, one thing you always have to mention, like D Lucky just mentioned, is distance control. Because you can have a stiff, powerful jab that's effective when it lands, but if you're not good at controlling distance, your jab not gonna be as effective. Now, Ugas is really good at distance, but I think Errol Spence's distance control is some of the best in boxing, up there with Shakur Stevenson, Errol Spence. You know, these guys is like elite. These are creme de la creme when it comes to like distance control in boxing. Triple G was up there, you know, in his prime. You feel what I'm saying? But it comes down to that distance too. I think Earl is gonna find a distance that he feels most comfortable with, which is really any distance. But in this particular fight, he's gonna find a certain distance in those first 3 to 4 rounds where he feels like, okay, I can get my jab off right here, and Ugas can't touch me. And if he does throw something significant, I'm at a good enough or a comfortable enough distance where I can parry that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, even if I can't block that bitch fully, I can't get all the way out the way, you know, I can parry that bitch and let that hoe just rub off the glove. You know what I'm saying? And then get right back to my jab. You know what I'm saying? I can get right back to my shit because I done established that distance. So I let a motherfucker, I can get right back to my shit easy. I think Earl gonna establish that distance early. So you're gonna see in the first 3 to 4 rounds, I think Earl gonna box him. He gonna box him, and once he get that distance where it's comfortable, where he feel like I can get my shit off and he really can't do much to me, that's when you're gonna see Earl start walking him down. That's when you're gonna see Earl start walking him down. But at the same time, Ugas gonna have a lot to say about that. He gonna have a whole lot to say about that. You know, I can definitely see Ugas landing some really good counter punches, and you know, I think you know, you gonna see Ugas gonna have his moments in this fight where Earl get very aggressive, and he catch Earl with, I think he gonna catch Earl with a right hand or two, because Earl is gonna be willing to give one. He gonna be willing to take one to give 2 or 3 when he trying to close that real estate. You know what I'm saying? He trying to close that distance and get in there and do work, because Earl is gonna want to go to Ugas's body, which is dangerous because Ugas is a good body puncher himself. And when you get down low like that, Ugas, you know, he'll turn those body punches. He like to throw uppercuts to the body. That's one thing Ugas love to do. When going to the body, he like to throw uppercuts to the body. He don't just throw 1 or 2. He throw 3, 4, 5 of them bitches. You know what I'm saying? And if you getting down low on him, those uppercuts to the body can turn the uppercuts to the head. He real good at doing that, transitioning from the body to the head. I think he gonna have his moments, but I feel like Earl is gonna take over that fight. Shout out to the brother BH in the building. What's good? Another key to the Spence Ugas fight will be Spence's underrated footwork. Facts. The pivot. That's one thing. That's another thing that Earl got over Ugas. The foot game. The pivot game. Ugas can be very flat-footed. That's why you seen when Sean Porter was boxing him, you know, Sean Porter chose to box in that fight. He came out boxing, and he was moving a lot. And he had Ugas in the middle of the ring talking about, come on, let's fight, come on. Come on, right here. You know what I'm saying? That's because Ugas, he didn't have the foot speed to keep up with him. He couldn't keep up with him. And I don't think he gonna be, even though Earl ain't gonna be doing a whole lot of moving and shit, I don't think Ugas gonna be able to keep up with the pivot game and the positioning, because Earl is always gonna be in position to land hard shots. I think you're gonna see Ugas. You seen it a little bit in the Manny Pacquiao fight, you know, but Manny, you know, I'm not comparing Earl Spence foot speed to Manny Pacquiao foot speed. Is totally different, but you can see how he had him off balance a few times in that fight. I think you're gonna see that a lot, where Earl gonna, you know, hit him with that pivot, put Ugas in a badass position and be 10 off on him. Shout out to the brother Daniel, the prophet in the building. What's good? What's happening, man? Let me see. Said that Lubin versus Fundora fight reminds me of Cotto versus Margarito. And funny, they kept that left glove on at the end. Yeah, man, I see people was putting the emphasis on that. I don't really know what they had going on with the glove, but, you know, I ain't going to take nothing away from Fundora. You know what I'm saying? You know, it looks like shit. You know, he went out there, he did what he's supposed to do. You feel me? He got the job done. You know, hats off to him, man. And Lubin fought his ass off. You know, some people say he fought dumb, but you can say that, but on the outside looking in, but when you get in there, you know, that shit different. You know what I'm saying? That shit different when you get in there. Said Lubin was looking like Martin last night. Yeah, man. Had my boy in there looking fucked up, man. But you know, like I said, man, I'd rather look like that. I'd rather look like that and fight with heart and go out on my shield than to just fold. You feel me? I'd rather look like how Lubin looked last night and you know, go out like a G. He kept fighting. And yeah, that was a good corner stop. That was a great stoppage by Kevin Cunningham. Great stoppage. Great stoppage. I mean, he was just taking too much punishment. But you know, he still had fight in him. And that's why he had to stop that fight, because Lubin still had fight in him. He would have kept going. So, you know what I mean? You got to give him credit for that. Said it's hard getting away from a guy with that wingspan. Smothering. Yeah, man. I think it'll be easier. Dare I say this? I think it would have been easier fighting Sebastian Fundora if he was boxing off the back foot with that range. But you have a guy that's stalking you with power, with speed. Like one of the brothers just said, he naturally walks around at 154. So this ain't no big, yeah, he's 6'6", but this ain't no big old slow motherfucker. He fast. So he coming forward, stalking you with speed, power, pressure, combinations, volume punching. That's tough. That's tough. Fundora uses his uppercuts like a jab. Facts. That's tough. That's tough, bruh. I think it would be easier to fight him if he was an outboxer, because now you at least have a chance to try to get on the inside and try to do some damage. If he was more an outboxer than a great inside fighter. That's tough. Said I only see Tyson style beating his style. I think Jermell Charlo is capable of putting him and Derrick James. I think they capable of putting something together to beat Fundora. First he got to get past Castano. Not an easy task, as we saw in the first fight. But if he listened to Derrick James, he'll be successful versus Castano and Fundora. If he listened to if Jermell Charlo listened to Derrick James, he will be successful versus Castano and Fundora. You got to break Fundora will. You got to break his will. And I think Derrick James can concoct a game plan that can make Jermell Charlo successful at doing that. You got to break his will. I'm gonna be honest, man. The only guy that I see that I would favor beating Fundora right now at 154 is Jermell Charlo. He the only guy. Anybody else, I think they have a very difficult time beating him. Shout out to the brother D Lucky back in that super chat, coming through and showing love one more time. He said his chin was tough. That showed me how much heart Lubin put into that fight. He has my respect. Facts. Big facts. And this, one thing, see, this the downside of boxing. You know what I'm saying? A guy lose a fight, man, and they just get shitted on. You know what I'm saying? Everybody say, they chinny, they this, they that, man. But I find great pride in, and respect and honor when I see a guy, even in a loss, when they perform how Erickson and Lubin performed last night, bruh. You know what I'm saying? When they perform how Erickson and Lubin performed last night, dog, that shit, he was game. He was game. He was game, bruh. He was game, dog. That's the type of shit. That's what motherfuckers be saying they want. That's what motherfuckers be saying they want. You get a guy in there that box and look pretty in the ring and make it look easy, they say that's boring. But what Fundora and what Lubin did last night, that's what motherfuckers be saying they want. They be saying they want a motherfucker to just stand in there and just go toe to toe. And when all the chips seemed like it was against Lubin in the 7th round, bruh turned into a Super Saiyan. He leveled up and went hook for hook with Fundora and dropped it. Motherfucker 6'6", going hook for hook with him. Face all fucked up. Still going crazy. Said, what you thought about Tony Harrison? Yeah, I was speaking on that at the beginning of the stream, man. Tony Harrison was impressive to me. Tony Harrison was very impressive to me after, like I said, losing his pops, looking lackluster in his next fight, got a draw. The mentality, it wasn't so much the skills, because I already knew Tony Harrison can box like that. But for him to be strong enough mentally to come back, got his brother as his trainer now. You know what I'm saying? Putting together a great game plan and outboxing Sergio Garcia. He looked better versus Sergio Garcia than Sebastian Fundora did. But what that tell you? Styles make fights. Tony Harrison looked way better than Fundora did versus Garcia. Way better. Very sharp. Defense was on point. Shout out to the brother D Lucky. Back in that super chat one more time, coming through and showing love. He said Bud called Fundora a cheat code. He is, bro. He definitely a cheat code, dog. Definitely a cheat code, bro. I mean, bro, at 154, dog, 6'6", bro. What the fuck you gonna do with that, dog? It's not just the fact that he's 6'6". Bro, the dude got a chin, power, hand speed, volume punching. Bro, it's not a lot of dudes that tall that's throwing punches like that, dog. Look at the heavyweights. Ain't a lot of them motherfuckers. It's not a lot of volume punching heavyweights because you get tired fast. All that weight and shit, motherfuckers gonna get tired quick as hell. But he's 6'6" in a 154-pound frame. So he got stamina, hand speed, power, relentlessness. That motherfucker is a created player. This dude a created player, bro. Sebastian Fundora is a created player, dog. Hard to beat. Shout out to the brother ATX AJ in the building. What's good? Said, I need your opinion on something. What's that, my boy? Said number 99. Oh, shit. Said one of my favorite jabs being thrown by, is Holmes, Spence, and Harrison. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good company right there. Harrison jab, sharp. Spence jab, sharp, strong. And Larry Holmes, man, shit. A lot of people say he got the greatest jab of all times. Another guy that had a really good jab, Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis' jab was fire. Yeah, Harrison jab go hard, man. Harrison jab, hey, man, he can control you the whole fight. He controlled Sergio Garcia the whole fight with the jab. You know, jab, set him up, boom. You know what I'm saying? Jab, you know what I mean? Control him. You know, let him think shit sweet. Yeah. You know, but that jab always there. You not finna just walk in this motherfucker. That jab is there. And you think you got me on the ropes? I'm gonna jab you again. And I can counter with the jab too. That's Tony Harrison. Said, what's your take on Fundora maybe taking PEDs or having some in his raps for the fight based off how Lubin faced? I'm not gonna put that jacket on him until Fundora fails a drug test or until I see like some actual evidence of that. I ain't gonna put no stock in that because it's possible for a motherfucker face to get beat up, even if the fight is fair and nothing wrong with the gloves, no PEDs involved. It's possible for a motherfucker face to get beat up like that. And Lubin was taking hella shots. You know, and it's also possible that he was cheating too. But until I actually see like some real evidence of that, I ain't gonna put that jacket on, bro. I ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna rain on his parade and shit on his win like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, he worked hard to get where he at, you know. And I hope that everything is on the up and up. I hope that you know, I hope that that everything was good, man. You know what I'm saying? Because both of those guys laid it all on the line. You feel me? Both of them deserve respect. So I would hate to see if anything like that, you know, happen. Any type of foul play, I would hate for that to be what that is. You know what I'm saying? I would hate that. Shout out to the brother CO189 in the super chat coming through and showing love. He said, Winky Wright had that jab too. Big facts. Winky Wright was a fool with the jab. Said, I keep wondering why Lubin wasn't turning him and using angles. Much respect. Yeah, man, that's it. And he was doing it in the first round. I was impressed with how Lubin came out in the first round, boxing the taller guy, still, you know, fighting on the inside or at a good distance where he can touch him. But he was also turning him, you know what I'm saying, using angles and, you know, then getting this shit off. But after the first round, man, I don't know if he just got comfortable, because towards the end of the first round, he started to sit down on his punches, and he was landing shit to the body. So I don't know if going into the second round, he was like, okay, shit, I can stand in front of this motherfucker and do what I want to do. But little did he know, Sebastian Fundora really got that shit. He really got that shit. Said Lubin didn't listen to his corner at all. He really did, man. He really didn't. You know, I know it's different, man, from looking at it from the outside looking in. The fighter might see something that the trainer don't see. That's possible. But I would still like to see a fighter actually attempt to execute the game plan. I would like to actually see the fighter attempt. Don't just keep doing what you've been doing. Try to do what the coach is telling you to do. If it don't work, okay, cool. Now you got to go to plan B. Just like Jermell Charlo in the first fight with Brian Castano. He was not listening to Derrick James. Motherfuckers say, well, it might look different in the ring. That's possible. But at least try to implement or incorporate the game plan. And if you can't do it, I want to hear in the corner, tell the coach, like, I can't do this, and this why I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, every time I try to do this, he doing that. No, every time I try to, no, his foot is over here, I can't get in. You dig what I'm saying? I want to hear an explanation on why you not following the game plan. And if you not giving no explanation, that just showed me you ain't even trying to do what the fuck the coach telling you to do. You just trying to do your own thing. At least try to follow the game plan. If it don't work, all right, now let's go to plan B. That's what your coach is there for. That's what your coach is there for. You know what I'm saying? Your coach is there to, guide you. He gonna help you come up with a plan B. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the brother D Lucky back in that super chat, coming through and showing love. He said it's not easy turning a taller fighter. That's facts. Too much leverage on the taller guy side. Yeah, big fact. It's hard. It's hard to turn him. You know what I'm saying? It's hard, bro. You just gotta use angles and pivot. That's really your best chance. Like, you have to be able to use those angles and pivot when you go into the body on a taller guy, especially somebody with that much of a reach advantage and height advantage on. You just gotta use angles. You can't just sit right there, especially on the guy that can fight on the inside too, like Fondura can. You gotta use angles. You know what I'm saying? He can turn them, and he did turn them a couple of times in the first round. You know what I'm saying? But he just really couldn't keep it up. He couldn't keep it up. EJ said he was listening to Derrick James playing, but in his mind, he said this gonna be he said this gonna be a fight. Yeah. Damn. Said Lubin was up on all the cards too. Salute both fighters. I think had it gone the distance, I really felt like Fundora would have taken control even more of the later rounds because Lubin was just taking so much punishment. But Lubin still had fight in him. He could have possibly, if he could have turned up to another gear in those last few rounds, it's possible he could have did some. You know what I'm saying? But, it's possible he could have did some. Said if he pulls out to fight at his range, he'll get rocked pulling out. Yeah, that's tough, bro. That's tough. That's tough. Shout out to the brother Cedric B25. Said I don't see how he was up. Yeah, man, it depends on what you was looking at. You know, it depends on what you was looking at. It was, in my opinion, it was a close fight. I can't say me personally that I had Lubin up, but I thought it was close. I thought the knockdown in the 7th round kind of evened things up a bit. I think if the fight was over at that moment, if you had to give it to a guy, you might have had to say that Sebastian Fundora was a little bit more dominant. Clean shots, yeah. Fundora landed a lot of clean shots, you know. But Lubin was landing clean shots, though. Lubin was landing a whole lot of, like, really clean shots to the body, to the head. Fundora was throwing a lot of volume and hitting through the guard. His shit was landing clean, too, but I think the judges was looking at the more accurate punches from Lubin as opposed to the volume from Fundora. You know what I mean? But it depends on what you was looking at. Said, do you think Charlo ducks Fundora and moves up? I don't think it would be no reason to duck Fundora. If Charlo become undisputed, then he got every right to move up. You know what I'm saying? If he want to stay at 154, he'll fight Fundora. I think Charlo will beat Fundora. I think Charlo chin way better than Erickson Lubin chin. So he'll be able to get more of his shit off without having to worry too much about, damn, am I going to be able to survive or am I going to have a gas tank? I think he'll be able to stick to his game plan better than Lubin did and be more effective. But it's a great fight. I think that's a tough, Fundora's a tough fight for anybody, but I would favor Jermell Charlo. I think he's the only guy that can beat Fundora at 154 right now. So they gonna have to KO Fundora to win. Facts, you gotta stop. You gotta hurt him bad. If you don't stop him, you gotta hurt him real bad and make him like not wanna come forward no more. But even then, we seen Lubin hurt him pretty bad. But he kept coming. Kept applying pressure. So, like the brother Big Tex 33 just said, you might have to stop that dude, man. And I think Jermell Charlo can do it. I think Jermell Charlo gonna be smarter than Erickson Lubin. I think he gonna be sharper, you know, stronger, better chin, and he'll have a better game plan. And I fuck with Coach Cunningham, but I think Derrick James is gonna give Jermell Charlo a better game plan. And I think, hopefully, if Charlo actually sticks to it, you know, he'll be all right. Tony has a great chance. I don't know. I think Tony gonna get caught with something, man. And I think I love Tony Harrison, man, but I think he'll end up getting caught with something by Fundora. I don't think he'll make it 12. Shout out to the brother Gregory Harper in the building. What's good? Any thoughts on why Fundora didn't take off his gloves? I don't know. I don't know, man. Shout out to my brother Jay Cooley in the building. What's good? What's good? Yeah, man. I'm not gonna. I ain't gonna, you know, try to say the dude was cheating or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I don't know. He not the only fighter that I seen didn't take their gloves off immediately after the fight. That was kind of strange, but he not the only fighter that I seen do that. You know, some guys, you know, they'll take their shit off when they get backstage and shit. You know what I'm saying? Do you think Floyd could beat, a prime Floyd could beat Fundora? Shit, if he was fighting at Floyd weight class, I ain't picking nobody over Floyd. You know what I mean? Floyd is like a master, bro. I think he can figure out any style. I think Floyd he can figure out any style, bro. He can find a game plan to beat anybody, dog. Whether it's gonna be a stoppage or on the cards, prime Floyd, I think he'll find a game plan to beat anybody. If you look at Chico Corrales, even though the height difference wasn't the same, yeah, somebody just brought it up, the Corrales fight. Even though it wasn't the same, the height difference wasn't the same, he still was able to devise a plan to totally like undress Diego Corrales and make him do whatever he wanted to do, and Floyd was just able to get off on him. Said he fought Canelo 152, but he did fight Cotto at 154. But Prime Floyd didn't fight at that weight. You know what I'm saying? If Prime Floyd was a 154 pounder, I'm picking Floyd. I'm picking Floyd for sure. I don't think there's nobody that I would pick to beat Floyd. Anybody in his weight class, I don't think I would pick anybody to beat Floyd, though. I think he'll figure out a way to beat you. Some people might not like the outcome. You know what I'm saying? Some people be like, oh, he was running. But Floyd gonna find a way to win, though. Let me see, definitely get exposed to the body. Lubin thought his power was the key. That's why he fought like that. Yup. His power definitely there, but it wasn't enough for him to just stand in the fire like that and be reckless. Shout out to the brother Big Tex 33 in the super chat coming through and showing love. He said, I'm pulling up to the EJ fight in the contender regime bomber jacket. I don't care if it's 150 degrees in that bitch. Hey, big facts. 100, hey, salute, bruh. I know that motherfucker gonna look good on you, my boy. I appreciate the support, dog. I appreciate the support, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you, dog. Yeah, man. Yes, sir. Pull up in that bomber jacket, dog. You gonna have everybody looking. You feel me? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, my boy. I love that, man. Appreciate that. Said that would be a good fight. I think Spence gonna beat Fundora. They gotta meet when he move up. Yeah. Because I believe that Fondura is gonna be at 154 for a minute, dog. Like he naturally squeezed. Like he 154. The dude was 152 at the weigh-in, and he looked the same at the weigh-in that he did in the fight. He looked the same. He didn't look like he blew up overnight or no shit like that. He looked the same. He looked like he was about 155 on fight night. 155, 156 type shit. So he gonna be there for a minute. And I think if Jermell Charlo becomes undisputed and he decides to move up, maybe he sticks around and fight Fundora. But I think after he becomes undisputed, most likely he gonna decide to move up. He might defend the titles one time and then move up. And Earl Spence's Fundora is gonna be a factor at 154. And if Earl Spence want to be a champion, and if he want to be undisputed at 154, he gonna have to see Fundora. And that's going to be something. That's going to be something. That's going to be something. And Fundora, what, 24? So, Jerron Boots Ennis is 24. Boots Ennis, I think when he get to 54, Fundora might still be there. I think we'll potentially get a Fundora versus Ennis fight. I think we might get a Fundora versus Virgil Ortiz fight. It's going to be, in the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to be some hell going on at 154, I'm telling you. It's going to be some shit going on at 154. Relinquish the belts. Going to be some good fights for them vacant belts. Facts. It's going to be so many matchups that you can make, bro. So many matchups, dog. In the next 2 or 3 years, I think we're going to have Earl. You might even have Crawford go up there and have a fight or two. Fundora's going to be there. I think you're going to have Virgil Ortiz, Jerron Ennis up there. Man, it's going to be some shit going on at 154. It's going to be some shit going on at 154, man. It's going to be some shit going on. But look, man, I'm finna go ahead and get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Go get me something to eat, man. I'm hungry as hell, man. I hope y'all have a great Sunday. It's been good talking this boxing with y'all, man. Appreciate everybody that came through in the super chat, showing love. Greatly appreciate it, man. In the regular chat, just chopping it up, man. Everybody that hit the like button, if you haven't already hit the like button, please go ahead and hit the like button. Stay tuned this week. I will be dropping the prediction videos and full breakdown for Earl Spence and Yordenis Ugas. And then also for Imanta Stanionis and Butayev. You dig what I'm saying? We gonna chop it up this whole week, man. It's Earl Spence and Yordenis Ugas. You feel me? That's what it's about. Is Earl Spence and Yordenis Ugas this whole week. It's going down, man. So y'all stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? Hey, enjoy yourself this Sunday, man. Contender regime. Boxing, I'll holler at y'all boys, man.